So this is going to be the top. Just going to loop this like this. This string does not need to be long at all because it's going to basically be pulled closed like this. So this will just be the top of the cactus. Once I have my loop, I will attach some lark's head knots to the loop, keeping them longer. Even though my cactus is going to be about half this, I keep the string a little bit longer, that way I have some slack to work with. And I'll attach as many as 10 to 15 sometimes, depending on how big I want to make my cactus. Today I'm only going to attach 4 lark's head knots, and that's going to give me an itty bitty cactus. But if I attached more, my cactus would be much wider. And then the longer I make these strings, the longer my cactus is. So I'm going to make a little short, plump, itty bitty cactus, so I don't need to make these strings super long. Like that. And then you can just pull these 2 strings to tighten up this loop. So, see, we're pulling and it's tightening. And that's making the top part of the cactus. Just gotta keep pulling. And then once you have it pretty much closed, you can kind of adjust it. Doesn't that look pretty? Just that top part. So those extra strings that I used to pull closed, I'm going to just kind of tuck them underneath here. You just kind of have to tighten up that lark's head as you're tucking in those extra strings. See, I'm kind of just pulling these towards the middle there, and then I'm moving these 2 over so that it closes up that gap. See that? Eventually, if I feel like it, I might tie these off but really, once I start putting my other string and I'm looping around, this pretty much just stays tight on its own, so you won't need to worry about this part. Okay, so the next step is to get the string you're going to be wrapping around these. And honestly, it doesn't really matter how long you make this. I like to make it pretty long so I have a lot of slack to work with. I cut mine to about 120 inches here, because we're going to basically be knotting this around like this over and over and over to form that cylinder. You'll see as we go. So what I like to do is just pick a string, preferably opposite these extra little slacks here. Just pick a string. That first knot on there, tighten it, See that? And then from here, we just do clove hitches. I guess it's a double half. Is that what they're called? I'm not an expert with my macrame names, my macrame knot names, but I know how to do them, so just do that knot. See how we're starting to form the body? And you just keep going all the way around. So let's see here, we got to those strings there that we wrapped around in the beginning. So just kind of make sure those are tucked in, and we're just going to jump over to this next string here. Okay, so now we went all the way around and we've met back up with that first layer. So some people cut this off and tuck it in and start a new layer. I personally think it's too much work, and it really doesn't matter. So what I do is I just keep going around. I just pull and I go down and basically create another level. It's basically a spiral, just going in the spiral. And as you can see, you can't even tell. See? Created another level, and then I'm just gonna keep going all the way down, all the way around and around and around and around in a spiral until I get to about right here, and I got myself a cute little cactus or succulent, or I don't know, whatever you decide to do with it. Now that you can see that we've gone all the way around, the string where I started, my lead string, that's the beginning of my lead string, And then these are my two top circles, the beginning and end to my top circle there. They're basically just stuck in the middle there. Everything is staying together all on its own. So I'll just keep going around and around. And if you happen to run out of string, this really long lead string here, if you run out of it, you just stop and add another one. You'll just start it the way you started the original lead string. So you just have an end here basically, and you would just start again right here. And you can kind of just like adjust it as you go, making sure it looks nice. At this point, it's starting to pull together, so it's going to kind of tighten up, and it's going to make it a little bit more round at the bottom, and you'll have a nice little plump cactus. At this point, I'm running out of my lead string, so I'm gonna need to add more, or I can just be content with how cute and dainty this is. But my cactus is my cactus flower is pretty big, so I'm gonna need this to be a little bit taller. That way it doesn't look too funky. So what I'm gonna do is just leave this hanging here, and I'm gonna add a new lead string on here, and I'll just tuck this extra bit of the end of the lead string in, so it doesn't matter, it'll just stay right tucked in there. So at this point I have two choices. I could take another really long string to make my cactus even longer, or I can take about a third of the original length I originally chose, just to add a couple more inches to my cactus. So I've got more lead string here. And get the end and add it on. This is how I like to add in my new lead string. It's a little clever clove hitch, just like so. So once it's added in, you just tuck it in, tuck in that end. I'll never be able to tell. And just keep going. Once you feel like you've made it long enough, as long as you want it, you can just cut the lead string off. You can trim these little other strings here. What I like to do is leave the strings longer though, so that way when I do plant it, I'm putting it inside the pot like so, and I can put the pebbles over the roots, so it acts as roots, like a root system, and it'll hold it in the pot like that. Same thing with the flower, sticking it in there and it'll all stay together. So here it is. I went ahead and planted it in a cute little disco ball planter, and I think it looks absolutely adorable. So if you'd like to see more, just make sure you like and subscribe. See you later.